Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chair, and today we are going to be reviewing the album When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go by Billie Eilish. Now before we get into things, as always, we just ask if you could like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We do really appreciate it here. We had a lot of fun making these videos, and it's just been really fun to see other people enjoy it. But let's dive right into things. We judge each album in 3 categories: the context behind the creation of the album, the songs themselves on the album, and finally the album cover. Jumping right into the context, where we left off on Billie Eilish's EP that we listened to last episode, Don't Smile at Me. She only made it at 15 years old, and it got really good reviews for her debut, and she worked alongside her brother Phineas, recording music in their childhood bedroom in their home in Highland Park, California. But now it was time to actually double down and make a full album. After the success of Don't Smile at Me, they were signed to a record label, Interscope, and this gave them a lot more deadlines and a lot more, pressure to make a pretty good album. It's pretty interesting because this is a very well-known, famous, obviously, album in music, in modern music, and just obviously in Billie Eilish's discography. But she said she really did not enjoy making it, even quoted saying she hated every second of creating this album. Though she didn't like the album, the blossoming skills of Phineas and Billie created a really, really good album with a more deeper production value, as well as the growth and confidence in Billie's vocals as well, which create a very, very good album. This album actually goes a lot more deeper into the context of the songs and what it's about. We get more generic heartbreak on Elo Milo and I Love You, but there's drug references and drug abuse on Zanny, while suicide is stylized in Before I Go and Goodbye. Also, like I said in the previous episode, Billie Eilish has 2 really distinct sounds: her kind of sad, more sensitive side, and then her, club girl era. And those songs kind of are on that sad, soppy side, but she has some absolute bangers on there. We got All the Good Girls Go to Hell, You Should See Me in the Crown, and of course, the most iconic track for Billie Eilish and what that really set her on the map, Bad Guy. Billie is quoted saying that this album was about shit that's crazy and also depressing. And honestly, I couldn't have said it any better. The album was a tremendous success. At 17 years old, Billie Eilish hit #1 on the Billboard charts. The accolades don't stop there. Billie Eilish also hit #1 in the UK, making her the youngest person to ever do so at 17 years old. And then at the Grammys, she broke many, many more records, taking home 6 Grammys that evening. Those Grammys include Album of the Year, Best Pop Vocal Album, Best Engineered Album, Best New Artist, and the Bad Guy song won Record of the Year and Song of the Year. And that's not all. Phineas also took home a Grammy himself with Producer of the Year. This made Billie Eilish the youngest person to not only win Record of the Year, but also Album of the Year, and the first person born in the 21st century to win a Grammy. Literally, this crushed all expectations. This all stems from their little studio in their childhood home bedroom that they made together. All of those Grammys, all those records, all those accolades, all from just their family home and a brother and sister making really great music. Obviously, the story here is absolutely inspiring and just awesome to see. Easily, the context is a 5 out of 5 in this category. Well, now let's move on to the song category. The album starts off with a bunch of exclamation points as Billie introduces us to her first full album while taking off her Invisalign. Doesn't that make you just feel old? Anyway, it hops right into the hit Bad Guy, which is an amazing groove. It's easy to get sucked into and just enjoy. And then also highlights on side 1, we have Wish You Were Gay, which always makes me laugh, and I think is just a rock and pop song. And it also has a really good ballad on side 1 with When the Party's Over. Side 2 starts with a cute acoustic pop song with 8, and then we get some of the craziest sampling I think I've ever heard from one of the best sitcoms ever on My Strange Addiction. Never in my life would I imagine loving a song so much that has the Office quotes weaved in between the track. Bury a Friend has the lyrics that inspire the name of the album, which we'll get to later. Then the album ends on a pretty soft and somber note with I Love You and Goodbye. And the crazy thing is, I actually like not every song on this album. I like a good 7 tracks. I think the ending tracks, the last 4 ending tracks, while very sweet and soft and tender, kind of mesh and mold into a very similar sound for me, so they don't really stick out for me, especially when you compare it to the more crazier and obtuse sounds you hear throughout the entire album. I think the first half is definitely a lot stronger on this album than the second half. You know, the all exclamation point intro, obviously I don't really care for, and Zanny I will say on the first side as well. Not necessarily something I go back to unless I'm listening to the full vinyl. I think 8 sounds a lot like Party Favor from the EP, which was already a sound I really didn't enjoy. I feel like it just was a little too bedroom pop on the acoustic side, that nothing really goes there for me. But I still really think the club energy and the pop songs for this are really what highlights and makes this a great album. And 7 out of 14 songs is still really, really good, and those 7 songs I really do enjoy. But that, in this category, that gives song score a 2.5 out of 5, right in the middle. And the final category is the album cover. Now, like I referenced a bit ago, Bury a Friend, a song on here, references those lyrics of when we all fall asleep, where do we go? And that kind of matches this image. And it kind of said, Billie had a little more inspiration behind this than her previous album cover, saying that she would have a lot of crazy lucid dreams, especially during this time of making this album, and she kind of wanted to put that into the sound, what you hear while you're listening to it. And I think that does that really well, and the ability for Phineas to kind of hear that and create that in the production studio, also really amazing. And so you do kind of get this creepy, weird sound, and so you do kind of get this creepy, weird Billie. I also really love that this connects to the fact that they recorded this in their bedroom, so it feels like all this craziness and darkness is all coming from this tiny little room. I think this is a lot better than the last album cover we looked at, a lot more context, and I think it just matches the energy of the songs you listen to while on here. I would actually give this category a 5 out of 5. I think it's absolutely iconic and fantastic. When people think of Billie Eilish, they think of this. That gives us a final score of 12.5 out of 15, which is an amazing score for this album. This actually nestles it right above Adele's 30 album and right below Rubber Soul by the Beatles, which is not a bad feat to be compared to at all. I was kind of surprised it nudged out Adele's album, but I do think the story behind this is just really great, and I can kind of see how it kind of gets the edge on Adele's latest LP. Also, easily this beats the EP score, Don't Smile at Me. I think it has better production, better context, more storytelling, better vocals, and just a very fun, iconic sound. It also makes it into the top 5 of our series right now of all the albums we've reviewed so far, sitting in 5th place, knocking out Adele, and hanging out with a bunch of Beatles albums in there right now. Well, I will say if you haven't listened to the full album, I definitely would say give it a listen. I think you'll find a lot more deep cuts in there than other than just the main hits you know from the radio. I think this is a really great effort. There's a reason why she won 6 Grammys for it. I think you might even like more tracks than I do off of this. So if you haven't done that, definitely recommend. But that will be the finale of the Billie Eilish kind of category in this series so far. I don't have any other albums of hers. Maybe one day if I do, we'll come back and we'll do an episode on other albums, because she does have other great albums that came out later, and I think has some great music on it too. Just don't happen to own it right now. But in our next episode, we're going to be starting a new artist, Billy Joel. We're going to start with his debut. I actually own all of his studio albums. I think he has 12 or 13. So the next handful of episodes are going to be on my boy Billy Joel. If you haven't already, check out the episode where me and Claire rank all the Billy Joel albums. As you can tell, we have a really good affinity for him. I really do enjoy him as an artist. So tune into that. Like I said before, like, comment, subscribe so you can look out for those videos. We do really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time.